There will, I don't know if she has anybody signed up. Let's call the meeting to order. Just a reminder of the emergency fire exits, the two entry doors behind you, and the doors on either side of the blue curtains. This is the time for public comment. And I'll ask, is there any anybody signed up for public comments? All right, so no one has signed up for public comments, so we'll go on to approval of the agenda. May I have a motion for approval of the agenda, please? Marty, a second? Maureen, discussion?
That we remove the calendar from the agenda, which I think is 8C. There were some questions on instructional days and some different questions about it, so I'd like to remove for further consideration.
Any discussion?
Need a second?
Oh, okay, so you moved it, Pete seconded it. Any discussion? All in favor of the amendment? 5-0. 5-0. And we'll move to a vote on the agenda as amended. All in favor? 5-0. Earlier, we had board commendations for winter sports, winter scholar athlete in the auditorium, which we do a few times a year when we have such a large group of honorees. The next presentation is by Mr. Terry Hartman. No, presented by Mr. Dave George for Mr. Terry Hartman, Dollars for Scholars Honor Award winner.
The blue light is on, and the room lights up, naturally. I'm Dave George. I'm president of Fairport Parent and Dollars for Scholars. We have a nice turnout here from our board tonight. Could our board members stand? Thank you. Fairport Parent and Dollars for Scholars. Dollars is our middle name, literally, as you just heard. We collect and administer and disperse scholarships to graduating seniors from the community and from Fairport High School. This year we will be distributing about $69,000 to deserving seniors. As I said, Dollars is our middle name. Years ago when Pat Ewing was the president of the NBA Players Association, he said, we make a lot of money, but we spend a lot of money, and that's what we do. Someone to help us keep that in order is our honor award winner tonight. Mr. Terry Hartman was a longtime financial executive with Xerox. On a voluntary basis, he oversaw our annual financial review, which is akin to an audit, making sure we were doing things financially correctly, making sure the money the community was giving us was being handled in the best way for the benefit of the students who benefit from this, all voluntarily. In the last 5 years, I think we've had 4 or 5 treasurers. Terry's presence has been the glue that has kept the treasurers together, kept things in order. Again, all voluntary. I've been on the board for 6 years, and I think every year was Terry's last year doing it. And yeah, we asked him nicely, and he came back again and again. But we've found a successor for him. And anyway, with him owing us nothing anymore, we can finally give a long overdue recognition. So Terry Hartman, congratulations. You are our honor award recipient this year. So, And without further ado, I'll let the board continue its business, and we will go and take a picture and hang this in the principal's office area so everyone can admire it tomorrow or after the meeting. Thank you for having us.
Congratulations, Mr. Hartman. Next is our school student advisory report, and I did see Sydney.
Good evening, everyone. I will be giving a brief update on events that have gone on throughout Fairport High School and the district over the last several weeks. As part of the annual Brotherhood Sisterhood Week in March, the Fairport Central School District district-wide food donation drive donated over 3,100 items to support the Parrington Food Shelf. These food items are donated to local families and community members in need of the many goods the food shelf provides. 5 Fairport teams recently advanced to Odyssey of the Mind World Finals. Odyssey of the Mind is a worldwide creative problem-solving competition for students of all ages and abilities in kindergarten through 12th grade. Teams from Northside, Joanna Perrin, Martha Brown, and 2 teams from Brooks Hill will represent New York State as they participate in the Odyssey of the Mind World Finals at Michigan State University. Best of luck to all participants. Many Fairport High School students recently auditioned for annual one-acts. These one-acts are short plays that normally consist of 1 or more scenes. Dates on upcoming shows are coming soon. Make sure to check out these awesome performances. You don't want to miss them. Earlier this month, students who participate in Environmental Club here at the high school held a Friday forum to raise awareness for Earth Day and the many things we can do in our everyday lives to help preserve our environment. Students presented on different topics such as pollution and endangered species. Students reacted positively to the forum and left with a sense of readiness to help keep our Earth healthy for years and years to come. I hope you all have a wonderful week. Thank you.
Thank you, Sydney. Great report. I'll cede my president's report time to Superintendent Provenzano.
Good evening. Thank you. We just came from the auditorium where we had the opportunity to acknowledge 12 out of 13 of our winter teams for achieving academic excellence. And not only do they achieve it on the playing field, because there's lots of individual and team successes, but most importantly, as they would all attest, they get it done in the classroom. And that's a great testament and celebration to what they try to accomplish. But Sydney just reminded us of another very important part of what we believe here in Fairport is our commitment to extracurricular activities. In Fairport, we pride ourselves in giving our students in all of our schools the opportunity to experience meaningful opportunities to connect to their environment, and that's been a board priority, and it's a priority where we continually invest our resources in, because at the end of the day, these are the experiences that the kids remember and that resonates with them, and it builds upon who they are as people. So that commitment is well noted and definitely appreciated. I would like to take a moment to speak a little bit about some occurrences that have, you may have seen or heard about or read about in the media. We've had conversations about our budget and our budget process. One thing that I would really like to start addressing is this concept of declining enrollment. And over the past several years, beginning in 2010, where we had 6,500 students, to currently, where we're projecting for next year, 5,700 students on or about, a little bit over 730, 740 less students through the years. And there's a graph that we're trying to put up here that speaks to, at the end of the day in 2025, we're looking to project around 5,400, a little bit less than that. So we're in a state of declining enrollment, and that translates in the classrooms, the number of sections that we're able to offer students. And I think it's important that we realize and we start talking about this in a very fluid sense. And again, you see a little visual up there that speaks to, what it looks like and how it's going to decline. The projections are usually pretty accurate. Where we get our projections, we've been able to match them up, and they've been holding true, decreasing anywhere between 1% and 3%, 1% and 3% a year over the next several years. So it's an idea, it's a concept that we're definitely going to be talking more about in the future. Also, in the very near future, we're going to be reaching out to our school community and our parent base as well, to get their thoughts, to see if they have any questions about declining enrollment, budget, future planning. And we're going to be starting a Q&A format to continually communicate with the community, to keep them abreast on pertinent questions that they may have. We're also going to be looking at forums where we can invite school members and community members in to talk about some of these same issues, because we realize that there's multiple different ways. It's just not all social media. It's just not all email blasts. We need to do some personal reach out as well, and we're looking forward to doing that in the very near future to discuss ideas like declining enrollment, aging facilities, and what our schools of the future will look like. Regarding our budget, we've, for the past several years, as a result of unrealized state aid, like most districts throughout Monroe County and the state, we've relied on our fund balance and our reserves to support revenue shortages. It's a fact that reserves, and the comptroller would say that they're a critical part of a financially sound school district. And we've used our reserves for the past several years to balance our budget in this tax cap era. I'm saying that for the past 2 years, we've decreased our reliance on reserves. Last year was a $200,000 decrease, or less reserves we used to balance our budget. This past year, through more state aid that we found through foundation aid and through diligence of a budget process, we were able to realize $360,000 less reliance on our reserves. We are not done. We're going to continue to look at ways that we can stop relying on our reserves and actually start reversing that trend in the very near future and start adding back to our reserve accounts. It's a conversation that we are going to continue to have throughout the year, so people, most importantly our school community members, are aware of it and they're informed on how we're going to build up, stop relying on our reserves as much and start building them up in the future. Future planning. I've said it periodically throughout the year, but I think it deserves its due diligence in talking about, we have been planning and we will continue to plan. There's a technology plan that we're continually developing, and we're studying how we're using all the different technological resources and infrastructure to optimize our technology investments. And we're excited about the fact that we're putting together a multi-year plan. So again, community could see how we're managing our technology investments in the district. There's a district-wide space utilization study occurring right now in all of our buildings. That space utilization study is critically important for future conversations and helping us understand how we are using our buildings currently. And the information that we receive from that classroom utilization study will inform future conversations, future planning conversations around all the different facilities that we have in our district. We have a 5-year building condition survey that we have to complete via SED regulation, where it prioritizes all the maintenance or mechanical needs that are occurring in our district. So we're going to take these studies, the building condition survey, the district-wide space utilization study, and put together a multi-year plan that addresses some very important questions that we need to start thinking about in Fairport. We completely understand that we need to create a financial plan as well. A financial plan that is accessible to the community at large, a financial plan that talks about our revenues, our financial plan that talks about major cost drivers in this district. I think it's important that people, school members, understand what are the cost drivers and how we're managing them. That will include, staffing associated with special programming, transportation practices, and how we're even spending for our debt service and how that impacts our budget and planning process in the future. So I think I'm speaking and using this as an opportunity as a springboard to future conversations. And it's a priority not only for me, but it's a priority for the Board of Education. I know that the board is interested in making sure that, the pieces that I just spoke to are well-developed in a comprehensive plan. And we understand that we need to communicate with the community in a responsive and timely manner on those major ideas that I just shared. So thank you for listening, and I'm looking forward to the future where we can continue to build upon this very important conversation for our students of today and just as important for our students of tomorrow. Thank you.
Thanks, Brett. Matt Stevens, the treasurer's report, please.
Okay, good evening. The treasurer's report that we have in front of us this evening is for the month ending February 2017. We had a beginning balance, general fund balance of $67.75 million, receipts for the month of $2.5 million, and disbursements during the month of $10.28 million for an ending cash balance of $59.98 million. As comparing to last year, it's about roughly $10 million below last year. Again, mostly reserve usage, as we have seen pretty much every month. So, thank you.
Thanks, Matt. Next is the approval of the consent calendar. May I have a motion, please? Joyce, second. Marty? All in favor? 6-0. On to personnel actions, instructional staff actions. May I have a motion, please? Joyce, second. Marty. Discussion? All in favor? 6-0. Non-instructional and civil service staff actions. May I have a motion, please? Marcy, second. Pete. Discussion? All in favor? 6-0. A memorandum of agreement with the Fairport School Office Professional Association. May I have a motion, please? Pete, second. Maureen, discussion? All in favor? 6-0. Memorandum of agreement, Fairport District Paraprofessionals. May I have a motion, please? Maureen, second. Marty, discussion? All in favor? 6-0. Matt's going to have to help me on this one. Resolution authorizing the cash payment of accrued and unused vacation time for employees who are not members of a collective bargaining unit. May I have a motion, please? Joyce, second. Maureen, discussion? All in favor? 6-0. Settlement agreement, including release and waiver of claims. May I have a motion, please? Marty, second. Pete, discussion? All in favor? 6-0. Okay, on to board discussion and action items. Policy first reading, school food service program. May I have a motion, please, for first reading? Joyce, second. Maureen, any discussion? We're a talkative bunch tonight.
I mean, I've read,
Okay.
I read through this, I always like to hear from the policy committee in terms of what pushed the changes. Is regulatory changes that were made here, just an update in terms of language? I mean, there's overall what brought this one up?
An update in terms of language.
Yeah.
The question we have right now is what's going to happen with the current administration and what changes need to be done again.
The federal
At the federal level,
administration.
because this is a federal program. So we were trying to get up to date with what used to be the new stuff, but now that may not be the new stuff.
I mean, the charging of meals, for example, is that part under our controls, or is that regulatory driven also there? or-
Is it under our control? Yes, yes.
Okay, so it's just, those were decisions. we
Yeah,
made.
And we try to remain competitive with what's happening in other districts. I know Matt does a lot of analysis with food service to make sure that we're within the right ballpark. And I do think that it's important to note that when we are going over these policies, we keep asking the question, or the members on the policy committee, does it really translate? Is it making sense in real terms? Because when this was written a few years back, maybe there's more that we can do than a peanut butter sandwich.
What happens when a kid doesn't have his lunches?
Right.
What do we really want to see happen for that particular person?
Well, because more than ever, we've talked about how we've had changing demographics, and we have more students who are in need financially, and we're seeing it as a prevalent conversation. And I think being responsive and adjusting the policy to Peter's question, I think the board members on that committee really take that to heart, so.
Well, thank you for looking at that.
All in favor? 6-0. Appointment of vote personnel. May I have a motion? Marcy, second. Maureen, any discussion?
Did we just leave her off the list last time? Is that what
I
we're
think,
just going? Oh, so we had to add more people, okay. I know we had a zillion people last month. Well, maybe not quite that many.
close to a zillion.
Close.
All in favor? 6-0. Okay. This is one I need help from Matt. The readoption of investment policy. May I have a motion? Pete, second. Maureen, discussion? All in favor? 6-0. Okay, this is the Wilmington Trust Company custodial agreement. I kind of learned what that was this morning. Okay. May I have a motion, please? Joyce, second. Pete, discussion?
Is this just adding another agency with whom we do business? Is that what I'm looking at?
This is directly related to if the district were to choose to invest in treasuries, or when the district invests in treasuries, that
Right.
Wilmington Trust, in this case, would be the trust company, that, yes. So we need to
So-
authorize that in order for
So
it
on
to.
a normal year, this is something we would be doing in our July re-up everything.
We could, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, or if new custodians would come into play, then we would need to set the resolution at that point in time. Mhm.
All in favor? 6-0. The post-issuance compliance resolution and procedures. Motion, please. Marty, second. Joyce, discussion? All in favor? Oh, sorry.
Yeah, no, just, I asked questions a little bit on this earlier. This is, it's post-issuance to the bonds, right? Nothing to do with the construction itself, so it has to be done based on the borrowing.
Based on the borrowing, so based on any debt, the district issues tax-exempt bonds or short-term borrowings, and there are post-issuance, after we issue that debt, that we have to, there's compliance procedures that we have to follow. Districts have been following them, but now this just makes it official because as it relates to the IRS, now it can be seen that it's been adopted as an official resolution. We have procedures in place moving forward as we check off a box on one of the forms we have to fill out. So, and at the advice of bond counsel, this is the recommended resolution. Thank you.
All in favor? 6-0. Control cycle audit of proper classification of independent contractor or employee. Motion, please. Maureen, second. Joyce, discussion?
Always a congratulations. Our audits come back in good shape, and this one was even more boring than others, right? I think.
Wait, I never knew all this stuff.
We like- we like
Every time I go into
boring.
an audit committee meeting, I learn something new about the district, and then I learn, and it's all okay. This is the good news. So I like, those are the kind of meetings I like. Make sure you keep the, and it's all okay, part two.
And that's what I mean by boring on an audit, right?
Okay.
Nothing to get excited about. Everything was clean and.
Clean audit.
Yeah, and I like to say that's kudos to Mr. Stevens and his team. I mean, they really pay attention to those finer details and make it boring. I mean,
I'm sure
Thank
your
you.
day is boring, right?
Thank you.
You take care of the crises, so we get to read the boring reports.
All in favor? 6-0. The anticipated executive session for the purpose of discussing an employment matter. And after we return to public session, we will not be doing any public business. So I don't have to have a motion on that.
You do it going to
Okay.
executive session.
Okay, you don't have that there, but, okay, we have a motion to go into executive session.
It's there.
Marcy? And second, Joyce? All in favor? 6-0? Okay, we will